Everyone, I would like to call this regular meeting of council, the city of Abbotsford, February 11th, 2025 to order. We have an adoption of the agenda with the two additions to 7.4 and 7.5.
So moved.
By Councillor Shahal, second by Councillor Gibson. All those in favor? Motion carries. And then motion to adopt one set of minutes from February 4th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Lowen, second by Councillor Hartman. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And the motion carries. We'll break down to minutes and correspondence, and I'll turn it over to the city clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So item 6.1 contains 4 petitions regarding the designation of underdeveloped municipal land for safe legal camping spaces for council's information.
Okay, is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will return to staff and have them turn it back to staff for the report section.
Thank you, Mayor Siemens. Item 7.1 is a report on the 2025 BC Culture Days launch. And with us today, we have the Manager of Cultural Services, Terry Dickinson, to provide some verbal highlights of the report.
Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but it is definitely afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So I'm very pleased to be here to provide an exciting update for Culture Days. So in recognition of the city's growing success in cultural programming and community engagement, Abbotsford has been invited to be the host city for the 2025 BC Culture Days launch. BC Culture Days is part of the National Culture Days program, which is Canada's largest community engagement campaign for arts and culture. Being selected as a host city is quite a prestigious opportunity and includes significant local, regional, and provincial recognition of a city's cultural leadership. The staff report outlines all of the conditions and benefits of being a host city, along with the recommendation that Abbotsford host the 2025 BC Culture Days launch. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm available to answer any questions that council may have on the report.
Great, thank you. Do we have a mover and a second? We get this on the table. Moved by Councillor Ross, seconded by Councillor Workington. And is there any comments or questions? Councillor Ross.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase Abbotsford. It's a real honor that we were asked. I just have a question though. The one page, page 19, it lists a bunch of events. I was just looking at all of them and wondering, I don't know if this agenda and these events are set in stone or if there's any wiggle room, but it would be great if one of them could be held in an agricultural area to kind of showcase, you know, how agriculture, you know, it's the foundation of our community. It contributes so much. And there's so many, like there's wineries that frequently have events where they have musicians in. And I just thought it would be great to have something there if it's possible.
Any comments from staff on?
Yes, absolutely. So through the mayor, back to council. The attachment is a summary of some of the activities and events that we held across the community last year. For
This is last. Oh, sorry.
Which included
Okay.
23 different activities across the community. But certainly as we engage in planning for this year, we can definitely keep in mind that the link back to our agriculture, as well as other opportunities in that area to bring this activity and programming out to the community.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't see the dates. It doesn't say 2024, so I guess I assumed, okay, cool. Thanks for the clarification.
Great, thank you. Is there any other comments or questions? I'll just state that, yeah, but part of our strategic plan is to be the cultural and economic hub. This request come in is showing that this is our plan, although sometimes people say, was that aspirational? Yes, it is aspirational, but it is also actually in fact happening. So to have this recognition, I think it's showcasing we are moving the dial forward. So thank you. Call the question then. All those in favor? And any opposed? Unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Siemens. For item 7.2, I'll ask Ms. Dickinson to stay at the podium. She will present the Cultural Services Delivery and Governance Review, Stage 3 Draft Review information.
So hello again, Mayor and Council. So I'm very pleased to be here to present the Stage 3 draft review for the Culture Services Delivery and Governance Review. And for this report, we are joined virtually by Carly Frey and Brian Christensen with Nordic City Consulting. So this review is a key first step in implementing the city's Culture Connect strategy. And Stage 3 of the review builds on the 4 key themes and planned recommendations that were developed in the Exploring Options phase. And each of these 4 themes have been further refined to include specific project proposals. And the review outlines the proposed projects for each theme, along with estimated timelines, community engagement and council decision points, and financial plan considerations. So the first theme of enhancing heritage services, the proposed project is to increase heritage preservation and community programming through an expanded role for Heritage Abbotsford Society. The second theme of reconsidering cultural partnerships outlines the estimated timelines for renewing the cultural fee-for-service agreements and includes the revision focus areas that were identified in Stage 2 of the review. The third theme of investing in cultural spaces has 3 separate project proposals. The first project focuses on identifying opportunities to enhance the functionality and use of the MCA for theatre and event organizers through a performing arts feasibility study. The second theme under the cultural projects theme space seeks to expand the availability of event spaces through the development of temporary venue partnerships. And these partnerships could be with local businesses, churches, community halls, or other organizations. The third and final project under the cultural spaces theme includes exploring opportunities for the development of a purpose-built cultural facility and event sites. So this body of work is dependent on finding synergies within existing strategies and plans. And you'll see here that the Mill Lake Master Plan process has been included as an example of how working with an existing plan may help to support the development of future cultural spaces. The fourth and final theme is reviewing culture-friendly municipal policies and services. And this theme includes 2 projects. The first proposed project is the creation of an ongoing cultural grant program. And the approach for this grant focuses on sustainable implementation and would make use of existing Culture Connect funding for the first 2 years. The second proposed project under this theme is to explore opportunities to expand existing event grants and incentives program. So it is worth noting that all of the proposed projects have been designed to meet the goals of the 4 themes and planned recommendations that were developed in previous stages of the review. The projects have been planned to strategically enhance the less established service areas and maximize city investment and community benefit through external funding and partnership opportunities. For clarity, financial plan considerations have been included in the review for council's awareness only. Any specific funding requests associated with a final review would be incorporated into the annual financial plan process for council's review and decision making. And the recommendation for this report is that council directs staff to seek further community consultation for the Stage 3 draft review.
Move the recommendation.
Recommendation is moved by Councillor Rowan, seconded by Councillor Ross. Have any comments or questions? Councillor Rowan.
Well, just wanted to say again that appreciate all the hard work that's gone into this. Clearly, the roadmap has been laid out well, and following it now will be the challenge. I know you agree with that, but yeah, I think it's a great blueprint for becoming the cultural hub of the Fraser Valley, and hopefully wish you well as staff to encourage us and to cajole us along the way into seeing this all come to fruition. Good job.
Thank you. Councillor Workington.
Yeah, thanks for the report. And I realize it's a report that sort of is a roadmap without having the individual pieces in front of us. That could be some time. So I'm happy to support it, but I do think it's only fair to mention to my colleagues that some of the more expensive pieces, I'm not sure where I would be on those. Other things look like very good ideas, like renewing our contractual relationships and so on. So realize there's a mixed bag there. Happy to support it. Just want to sort of myself on the record that there's some pieces that I'm not sure I would be supportive. It depends on how they come to us and when, given our other spending priorities that we're grappling with. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gibson.
Well, I just want to acknowledge the effort and the work that went into the support is very well done. I think working with a consultant has been exemplary, and the detail has been very well stated and cogent in many ways. However, I worry that we're going to be creating a trajectory of expectations of the public. And you'll see some of these criteria, for example, between 100,000 and 999,000. If you look through the funding corridors here, I think the expectations are quite optimistic in my view. And I think the public is going to, if they get caught up in this vortex, it's going to be very, very expensive for our taxpayers. And I would rather that we allow the provincial and federal governments who have a lot more funding opportunities than we do to focus on culture, and maybe we just back off culture. If there's cultural events that are needed, let them self-fund rather than relying on the taxpayers. So I don't want to be overly negative. However, I will not be supporting this. I think creating a trajectory in favor of culture, I think, is going to be problematic. And I think we're already spending, I believe that there's 1.4 million already on culture. And you can see this is taking a trajectory, I think, to be very problematic for our taxpayers. So I would rather we focus on our traditional services of local government and withdraw somewhat from the cultural file. And I think our taxpayers will appreciate that. Those are my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other comments from council? Thank you. Turn it over to, well, I make a comment. I just thought Mr. Stewart said if I could share some perspectives on it.
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Mayor Siemens. Maybe just to highlight a few points here, this review is consistent with the city's Culture Connect strategy. And notably, this work was identified as a priority action item in that strategy. Implementing the Culture Connect strategy is a clear objective of 2022 to 2026 strategic plan. And we're here today to seek direction on whether this work that you're seeing supports Council's vision of Abbotsford as the cultural and economic hub of the Fraser Valley. Broader economic studies that we reviewed as part of this work identified that every dollar spent on consumer cultural activities and experiences and products actually generates an estimated $12 in economic impact for the community. As a result, culture then helps grow economies and strengthen the labor market in a day and age of a great deal of uncertainty on a range of topics in economics and labor. Evidence demonstrates that the jobs in cultural services generate 1.7 jobs in the broader labor market. On the point of economics, the opportunity does exist in this plan, and we've been mindful of allowing for other sources of funding to buy into Council's vision of being the culture and economic hub. However, we are keen as staff to ensure that the direction of work today was been presented is in alignment with Council's vision for the community. We learned through this work that enhancing some of the cultural opportunities within the community has tremendous impact, whether that is in community safety or supporting crime prevention, creating and improving health. These are all valuable components of building and strengthening our community. And Abbotsford, as I'm sure Council is aware, is one of the most culturally diverse communities in Canada. This governance review seeks to ensure the city is supporting our diverse community in the most effective ways possible.
Thank you. Councilor Chahal.
Sorry, I know.
It sparks a couple of other interests about this.
Well, no, I mean, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate those comments about secondary tertiary benefits that we can benefit from as a community, but I really think it goes back to what type of community that we thought would make a complete community. And it kind of disappoints me that there's always going to be other priorities, but these secondary tertiary benefits they do impact us economically. So I do see the benefits of this as a priority in many ways. But I wonder too, what kind of messaging we're giving the community if we're not even in a consensus of this as a council. This is a reoccurring thing.
Did I see, yeah, Councillor Lawson's hand go up? Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it just sparked some thoughts in my mind as well. Yeah, I'm really supportive of this work and this report. I think we can't talk about being an inclusive, respectful community unless we invest in it, unless we can't trying to articulate it well here, and I'm not, but I guess what I mean to say is that we have to put our money where our mouth is. We can't just talk it, we have to live it, we have to provide options for people, we have to show that we respect everyone. But not only that, in terms of whether this is a core service or not, I would argue that it most certainly is. And we provide sports opportunities for people in the community, but not everybody's capable of sports. Not everybody wants to do that. We have to provide different recreational opportunities for people, and that includes some of the options in this report, like arts and culture. So I think this goes a long way to show we are a very inclusive community and we want to be well-rounded and provide for the needs of the community. And these kinds of things might look frivolous, but they're really not. They connect people. They feed the soul. I don't know, it's a wonderful experience and it brings us together. So I'm fully supportive.
Thank you. Not seeing any other comments, I will try to. This is articulating our vision for a vibrant economy, for an inclusive and connected. And I think, I want to be very clear that this isn't a huge investment of property tax dollars. This is a strategic investment of property tax dollars that leverages, just as we've seen with our culture days. This is an ability for us to leverage and equip our community to make those asks at senior levels of government, and also to get private sector buy-in. But I think there's something lost if we don't connect our community. We're now approaching over 170,000 population. As Mr. Stewart said, one of the most diverse communities in the country, and third most ethnically diverse behind Metro Vancouver. So breaking down some of those barriers so that we are actually firing on all cylinders, I think is very important and strategic. That was something that we did to our strategic discussion on. For the long-term investments, I think those opportunities will come forward. Some of our city centers, city center and historic downtown. So this is more about, I think, building capacity for our community to see what the long-term benefits are, but also the long-term opportunities. That we've got pound for pound some of the most talented people per capita basis. This was a way for us to show them that we value them and encourage them and bring them together. So I'm full support of this and I look forward to more from the engagement and appreciate staff's work on this. With that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Mark down Councillor Gibson's opposition. Thank you. Thanks. Pass that on to staff for the next item.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next is item 7.3. This is a report from the manager of inspections and permits, Mr. Sakur Sharma, who joins me today. It's regarding soil deposit permit application for the properties at 28500 and 28450 King Road, which is before council with a recommendation to approve the application. This is an application to deposit approximately 747,000 cubic meters of soil to raise the site's grade to match the future reclaimed grade of the adjacent Ministry Strong Pit located to the south and east of the properties. The report presents the results of the recent public information meeting, which was held by the applicant. Comments from residents at the meeting were on the topic of noise, dust, dirt control, traffic management, and environmental considerations. Should council approve this permit today, these items will be addressed in the permit conditions, including traffic management planning, erosion and sediment control, noise mitigation requirements, and dust suppression. And staff will monitor compliance and address any issues that may arise. Staff are here today to address any questions that council may have on this report.
Councilor Chahal, seconded by Councilor Barton. Any questions? Councilor Barton.
Is there any background information on why it was denied in 2016?
Your worship, I don't have that information. I do know that the Agricultural Land Commission has approved bill for the site. So we require that before we could bring it to council for application of city soil.
Thank you.
I have a couple of things. Is this going to be monitored like loads that come in and kind of fill? The reason I ask that question is they want to reclaim it to class 1. Do we know where the fill is coming from? Because class 1 is kind of what Mother Nature gives us, and I'm wondering if it's going to be fill coming from wherever, if that's realistic or not.
Mother Nature gives it in certain areas, not all.
Your worship, the applicant does have an approved plan that addresses where the fill comes from, and they also have a monitoring system to ensure monitoring of the loads as they come in. I believe it's in their best interest as well to make sure that that's adhered to, so for the viability of this land moving forward.
And just one other thing, on the effects on adjacent property, usually when this much fill is coming in, it could, or what kind of work is done so the adjacent properties are not going to get either runoff or unintended consequences. Staff is happy with the applicant's plan.
Your worship, you understand the applicant is working with the ministry on coordinating those boundaries between their site and the adjacent ministry sites or site along, I believe it's the south and east boundary, if I've got that right. And so that's to coordinate topography, runoff, and those types of things. Also know that the impact on the neighboring properties in terms of cleaning the road, hours of work, noise and dust control, as I mentioned, will all be addressed in the permit, monitored, and we have a fairly accomplished operator here and in their plan to operate the site in a way that works for the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions? Oh, there's a good track record here, so I have full support of this. Call the question then. All those in favor? And motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is 7.4. This report is regarding the proposed Fraser Valley Regional Noxious Weed Control Service Area conversion and establishment bylaw number 1750/2024. Staff's recommendation is that council provide statutory consent to the FVRD in accordance with section 346 of the Local Government Act for the adoption of this FVRD bylaw. Staff recommend questions.
Moved by Councilor Ross, seconded by Councilor Sadhu. Very straightforward. This is housekeeping. So call the question then. All those in favor? Motion carries. The next item, please.
Similarly, the next item is 7.5. This report is regarding the proposed Fraser Valley Regional District Air Quality Management Service Area merger and establishment bylaw number 1753/2024. Staff's recommendation is that council provide statutory consent to the FVRD in accordance with section 346 of the Local Government Act for the adoption of this FVRD bylaw. Staff are available for any questions.
Moved by Councilor Lowen, seconded by Councilor Ross. Again, housekeeping. Questions? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 8.1 is bylaw 3451/2023, which is amendment 558 to the city zoning bylaw for the property located at 32752 Even Avenue. This bylaw is ready for adoption.
Motion made by Councillor Shabbat, seconded by Councillor Gibson. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Carries. It's surprising on the minutes. Any new business? Don't see any, so I vote. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Barton, seconded by Councillor Lloyd. All those in favor? Thank you.